Hello everyone and welcome to Game 3 in this best of 3 series between nAni and Strelok here on Shakuras Plateau. We have nAni spawning as the pretty in pink Protoss on the top right hand side of the map. Meanwhile, across this map here we have Strelok spawning as the blue Terran versus Protoss on Shakuras Plateau. It is going to be, I guess, north spawns here. So it is not going to be a full cross spawn, and we'll see how Strelok is able to do on this map. In game 1, he fell to on Metalopolis. He fell to nAni's really aggressive 6-gate pressure after a fast expansion. Meanwhile, Strelok really winning game 2 within the first 5 minutes, 6 minutes, setting up a hidden expansion that was up and running for quite some time. nAni never able to find it and never able to figure out why Strelok's just macro was so much stronger throughout the game. Strelok currently just training up more SCVs. Meanwhile, nAni pretty much chrono boosting. He is actually delaying a little bit of his build there. So he chrono boosted even though, and then tried to build a gateway at the 11 mark, and that does cause a little bit of a wasted chrono boost there. And it may not seem like much, but in high-level StarCraft, it's all about a game of seconds. You're trying to get a really small advantage every single second of the game, and you're trying to turn that advantage into another advantage, and having a probe come out 3 to 5 seconds early could translate easily into 5 minerals, which means a faster pylon, a faster cybernetics core, and then all of a sudden, you have an overwhelming army 15 seconds earlier before your opponent does. Back over here, we are getting a barracks now being placed down by Strelok, also having a refinery being placed down. We also have one supply depot on the front door, pretty much a standard build, nothing to write home about. Marine now being trained, SCVs being transferred into the refinery, as we should be getting another supply depot sometime soon, unless he is going to be going for a Reaper expansion. One of the reasons why Reaper expansion works out well is that a Reaper expansion allows you to train up an expensive unit, the Reaper, that also takes a large amount of time, allowing you to save up a lot of minerals and get that command center up much more quickly. One Marine already on the ramp, deterring nAni's probe from being able to make it up there, and now that probe, who doesn't want to die, is now simply just going to run all the way home. An SCV now wandering around on the inside. You can see this build is the same exact build that we saw on game 1 on Metalopolis. No gas being mined. You can see a Nexus now being placed down here. So nAni is perhaps going to be going for that 6-gate pressure once more. We'll see if Strelok responds accordingly. He is going to be going for a command center of his own and now trying to get that Reaper down. And the Reaper is actually going to benefit a little bit from being able to get more damage onto these probes. But he also needs to get an additional racks. Otherwise, his army count will quickly fall behind. The Reaper is now making its way out. This one SCV, if it tries to build another bunker down over here, is just another cute play, as we are now running off of one barracks here, also getting that stim pack, and now trying to add another barracks as well. This Reaper needs to get as much damage as possible, but a Stalker already being trained up, and that Stalker will be able to stick its head out in just a moment, but the Reaper will perhaps be able to stop a bit of mining time on many of those units there. The Reaper down to 10 hit points, and there it goes. Jumping over that cliff just slowed it down just enough for that Stalker to get the final shot in the back. SCV wandering around here does see 2 additional gateways and an assimilator being placed down. So nAni may not be trying to go for that same build, or I didn't keep track of nAni's build the first time to see if that second gas was all that important. I think it was, just because he did get a lot of Stalkers early on. nAni currently getting 3 gateways up. Warp gate research will be completed now. He should be able to upgrade those all to warp gates and then build a proxy pylon in the center portion. A bunker is now being placed down. A lot of Marines now being trained, but he definitely still needs a Marauder. The Marauder hiding inside a bunker, that +1 range definitely helps out, as a range of 7 beats the range of 6 of those Stalkers, and it also allows the Marauders act as a little more like an alarm warning system. When you hear the Marauder fire, or when you hear your units firing, it gives you a slight second advantage in trying to respond and react. Currently, Strelok still running off of one base, though. He doesn't have any bunkers on the low ground. He knows that that's going to be very difficult. And now with nAni going into a robotics facility, this is actually going to work out very well. nAni perhaps going into the 6-gate robotics facility. If he tries to build an immortal in order to do a bunker bust, that will work out well. The bunkers are really, really powerful as long as they're able to stay up. But because an immortal is able to do 50 damage a shot, and it's a relatively small unit that has a high DPS against armored buildings like that, the Stalkers can also re-support and support that as well. So we'll see how that's going to work out, as Strelok only running off of one bunker. The stim pack has been completed, more Marines being trained. So yeah, triple Marines now being trained, and now perhaps a drop will be coming in from Strelok. But with that observer already underway, it should be spotted in just a moment's notice. A scanner sweep revealing the 3 gateways, a robotics bay now being placed down. I'm not sure if the robotics bay was actually revealed. It was revealed, but I do not know if he clicked on it to know that there will be a lot of Colossus in just a moment. And we are now getting a factory moving out. There are also a couple medevacs as well, but 2 medevacs now being trained, and no medevacs in the air just quite yet. So we may have a bit of a drop, as we are now placing down an additional tech lab and a reactor, perhaps for Marauders and Marines. This observer making its way across the map, and nAni is pretty susceptible to a drop right now. There's so many Marines, 21 Marines, 2 medevacs, perhaps going to do a bit of a pickup now. As the observer taking a look around on the inside of the base, he doesn't see anything yet. That is a definite issue. The probe, however, does spot the majority of this army now, as the observer now trying to catch up to the majority of this army. The Marines just wandering around and will be able to get to their destination, but there are going to be zealots, sentries, and stalkers. Army 74 versus 72. The Marines on the low ground. Perhaps the Marines should be able to clear up some of those proxy pylons there. One probe back over here, and now in comes, oh, is that going to be a drop? Perhaps, yeah, a drop straight up onto the high ground there, as the Marines are now on the low ground as well. There's the force fields, and now both sides battling it out. There is one Colossus over here. The Colossus trying to take down the rest of those Marines. The Marines are getting a lot of damage done, and that Colossus down to 5 hit points. It does get taken down, and perhaps another drop onto the high ground location there. And their one lone Marine doesn't realize the rest of his friends are gone. And now we'll see what happens with these 2 medevacs. The medevacs did take a fair amount of damage, but that early Colossus was destroyed. Always very nice, and if you're able to keep your opponent's Colossus count down as a Terran player. We are getting another, was that an actual effective drop? No real effective drop. That is just another empty medevac. Not quite sure why you would send an empty medevac back into into your opponent's base. That seems like an absolute waste, as Vikings are now being trained. Both players running off of 2 bases. Strelok with a slight advantage in minerals. Meanwhile, nAni with a slight advantage in gas, as no one has yet taken up their 3rd base. Observer and probe most likely will be setting up a proxy pylon in just a moment up on this high ground, and now you can see a command center already making its way over. So really nAni is going to be able to put pressure onto this command center much more easily than Strelok would like. Another Nexus coming in over here by nAni as well. This Nexus perhaps a little bit exposed and building towards your opponent's base, and I would normally suggest against that, except for the fact that Strelok is not going for siege tanks. So without going into siege tanks, he's not going to be able to really develop a strong siege line, as Strelok now setting up this one command center. Is it spotted? No, it is not spotted. Going to be placed down. It needs to be upgraded to a planetary fortress, and rather quickly. Otherwise, gateway units will be able to shut it down very easily. Is it upgrading to a planetary fortress? It is. It's just a matter of time, as nAni still does not know about that expansion there. A Marine guarding off over here doesn't see this Nexus at the low ground 2 o'clock location, as a drop now happening in along the backside. Not many Marines though, only 5 Marines there, and those 5 Marines not long for life, as they jumped inside a medevac and then just get absolutely destroyed. There is currently a couple Zealots now warping in, and the planetary fortress is about to be completed. So the Zealots are now coming in. 2 SCVs may get taken down, but the SCVs should be able to turn around now and just start repairing that planetary fortress. Those Zealots going to have a bit of a problem, as the planetary fortress already getting 2 kills onto those two zealots there. Another zealot trying to run away, taking a little bit more damage from that twin Abicus cannons there, and now a lot of marauders on that front door as well. Taking a look at the units, we currently have 8 Vikings already out. So is he double training Vikings? He is double training Vikings off of 1 starport, but once again going into a very heavy Viking play as opposed to going into very heavy medevac play. And now with only 2 Colossus to try to destroy all of those SCVs, that's going to be rather difficult. The planetary fortress does have a range of 6 though, as the marauders are now battling it out. This one bunker gonna get taken out pretty easily, but the bunkers with those marauders giving an additional range, allowing the Vikings to shoot back at the at these colossi rather easily, as now nAni pushing into the natural expansion. Stalkers are now coming in, as well as the planetary fortress is now just being mass repaired. Oh, mass force field coming in straight from behind. The Vikings may be able to get off an easy target onto the Colossus. No, unable to do so. Able to get some damage, but not enough. And now Strelok is behind at this stage, with only running off of 2 bases compared to nAni's 3, and I don't believe he even knows where that additional expansion is yet. No, not quite yet, as both sides still battle it out. A lot of Colossus are falling, but the Marauders and the Marines are not getting enough support, as they don't have enough medevacs. nAni able to, I believe, simply attack move here, and maybe able to just walk up that ramp, and very, very easily the sentries are now pushing their way up. No force fields, no guardian shield. Oh, there's 2 force fields, preventing those Marauders from giving chase once more. But he's done the damage that he needed to do. He was able to shut down 1 base. He now knows that he's up on bases 3-2. There is this 1 Marine over here thinking that, hey, since there's no Nexus over here, I'm pretty much fine and dandy. But that is definitely not the case, as the Colossi are now gathering in midfield once more. Level 2 weapons upgrade almost completed. Level 2 armor upgrades almost completed. And with those sentries, guardian shields, and armor upgrades, those Colossi will be able to reduce all incoming damage by 5, reducing the potential damage from a Viking from 30 down to 20, because the Vikings do in fact have that double missile attack. Back over here, the Stalkers and the Zealots are still wandering around. Stalkers blinking back up onto that high ground. No, not that many workers killed at all. So nAni pretty much sitting on 61 workers. He has stopped his probe production and instead just building a stronger and stronger army. Marines, Marauders, SCVs. It looks like this is going to be a nice all-in attack now, trying to move out, but so many SCVs are not in the position where they need to be. Vikings need to engage. Vikings all just getting torn apart, as the Colossi now pulling back. Perhaps another round of force field will be coming in. The 2 force fields are dropped down, but all of these Marines and those Marauders don't have that many medevacs. 1 factory up on that high ground there, as we are currently getting, what, 2 of 4 Colossi with level 2 weapons upgrade. Guardian shield once again coming in. The Marauders trying to run away, but now nAni can just continually do army trades and be able to come out ahead. He has a significantly larger army. The Stalkers and Colossi are trying to engage. Not enough Vikings to deal with the number of Colossi here. By the time the Vikings are able to shut it down, the rest of the Marauders and the Marines will get taken down. And there's the GG, as nAni taking Game 3 in this Best of 3 series. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed this 1v1 replay and Game 3 in this Best of 3 series in what I believe this game was taken from the European server, since I see my friend Drool on there. But then again, he also has a North American account. All right, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And shout out to Drool. I don't know if I'll see you in Anaheim, maybe. All right.